Hello everyone, it is Reality or Polaris here, and it looks like the actual trailer has come out for the Carmen. Let me tell you, there's a lot more to unpack here, so we are on a little bit of a ride here. So let's go and do this, alright? Have it running at 0.25 speed again, just to slow everything down so we can also look at some frame stuff. But there's definitely a lot to unpack here, some stuff that has definitely changed from last time, because they really only showed us very little. And let's just get into it really. So again, first starting up, we got the KOG symbol, my favorite company. Yeah, not much to say here. Let's just skip over that. Logo, Kurtzpel, Karma, Desperado. Weapon is a rifle. We know this. Karma Master, we already knew. She's the queen of the Wildcat Bounty Hunter, so that's new. I mean, she was clearly associated with them, but I mean, her last name is literally Wildcat, but Queen, I don't know why she's the queen or whatever, but she has shark teeth, so she has that going for her. And then I'll get you when they are. I don't know if that's like an or like she's trying to say someone's name or a word. It is a capital R, which usually would denote that it's probably someone's name. Fortunately, I have no idea who it's referring to, so not quite sure on that end. But let's keep going. I mean, literally the only other character is the kunai character who starts with the letter R, which, to be fair, is a hard character to catch as his own, like, ghost wolf spirit has tried to catch him in his own, like, nightmares or dreams or whatever, and he can't, and he's literally complaining about that. But anyway, aside from some story in game, let's get to the actual Karma. So we start off, and one of the things I'm going to note right now, which is immediately going to change some of the things, although I did bring up the possibility of it from the last analysis video, is that the reticle is not here. And you'll see later it is part of a skill. So the reticle is part of a debuff skill that you can cast on the opponent. I don't know what the range is, but you can cast it. I don't know what it does for the player, and I probably won't necessarily be able to figure it out here either. But it does allow you to cast it on the enemy, which inflicts a reticle on them that you can then use. So again, I'm not really too sure what else goes with it, but Also interesting to note that we're getting an NPC costume. This is the NPC costume. Glaive has not yet gotten the NPC costume, so I don't know what they're doing with Glaive because we've never gotten the costume for Glaive. We don't even have the weapon costume for Glaive, but that's the weapon costume for Glaive, and that's the whole outfit for Glaive as well. So that's actually interesting. I wonder why. No accessory though, or maybe it's on the right side. Hold on, let me see. When she's running, no, I can't tell. And the hairstyles look completely the same. Anyway, so she's firing here. Note, this is a skill. So I think this is a skill, and the reason for it is because with the normal LMBs, which we saw in the last trailer, you use both hands, it looks like. This, she's using one hand, and also notably is I think it breaks on the first hit, which I think might have like an explosion as well. So for those who might have played Elsword, which I think I referenced in the last video maybe, if you ever played Freya or Minerva, which is the third path for Rose, she has a skill called Blazing Bullet, which basically makes it so that every single bullet that comes in contact with the enemy then explodes 3 extra times. So this kind of looks like it might have that effect where it hits the enemy and then it explodes and does some more like AoE damage. I'm not sure if it does AoE. If it does AoE, that's actually going to be really scary, but if it doesn't, it's just single target. Still it would be decent, but yeah, this one breaks, and it looks like it lifts. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, they're off the ground. It's kind of hard to tell here, but I think if you look at this, it looks like they're off the ground. Cause, okay, yeah, right here I think you can tell. This animation is kind of them hunching forwards, which is used to denote that they're like airborne. It's the same thing that you'd get off of like a shift attack. If you shift attack someone with like sword or fist, they would go into this animation, I think. But yeah, it looks like it lifts them up. It doesn't look like it might it doesn't look like it brings them that far up, but it might even just knock them down immediately. And then we go to this skill, and this is another skill I think because they have red endurance here. So we have a karma that has a red endurance skill, which is already pretty scary. Because there's not many long range slayers that have a red endurance skill. In fact, the only other one that has that is I don't actually think there is a Slayer, what, right? Now, I will say, maybe there is an alternative here, which is it could be a right-click command that's happening here somehow, although I don't know how you'd be able to set it up with a launch that goes that high. And the only reason I say that is because Karma's like bow and cannon both get red armor or red endurance on their right clicks. For bow, you have to actually like hold down right click a lot before you left click, and you'll see that it'll start charging your endurance. And for cannon, it's just automatically red endurance. So it could be that it's automatically red endurance. I could see it being that. But I'm thinking it's a skill. It could not be, but I'm thinking it might be. Also, interesting thing to note here, I'm not really sure what happened, but the first shot that gets fired here, right? So, cuts to the first shot. This actually does do hit stun, because it flips them in the air, although it puts them in a neutral falling state, which notably means that this probably doesn't do much hit stun at all, or much break. Still probably does break, but then this one hits them as well, it looks like, or maybe it misses. Oh, no, that one misses. Yeah, that one actually misses. Okay, so great way of showing off that skill. That one actually just completely missed. And I don't know how many shots you can take out of this skill, by the way. Because they take another one here. It looks like that's the final shot because the previous two didn't crouch down that low. It's a final, rapid shot, I guess. I'm not really sure. Again, those could be the right click, or it could be a skill. It's kind of hard to tell. Again, if you're setting a right click up off of, most likely that was like a dash attack by either a break or its own, or that own karma. And if you're setting up a dash attack after that, you wouldn't have much time to charge up a right click to increase your endurance. So either it's like cannon where it just automatically has red endurance and you can just kind of fire with right clicks, or I don't know. And I don't even know if this has like an ammo system similar to cannon where you actually have to reload. I haven't seen any indication that you have to reload for this karma yet. Which is something to note that could be very beneficial to this karma as opposed to a karma like cannon, especially if it's able to mimic its damage. Although I haven't seen anything that would necessarily suggest that it can, although it certainly could be as annoying. But this definitely looks a little like, if this was a bit faster, right? Because the gap between the first and the second, I mean, maybe if you were closer, I think it would work, because that one clearly missed. And then these ones don't, and these ones all do hit stun. So, also this I think is a skill. Like surely this one is a skill. This one's a skill, or it's another, or this is the right click instead. There's a lot of things here I'm not really sure which is the right click, which is the skill. I can tell you none of these are left clicks. I guess technically you could maybe argue this is like a left click, right click, because some of those on Slayers would give you endurance, but I highly doubt it is. Because they'd never be that long. That one was like literally like 3, 4, 5 hits, and I'd never seen one like that. This just looks like a skill, though. Again, it could be an R&B that you charge and you go into a crouch for, or it could be a skill that you can charge. Because, I don't really think we've gotten that many skills that you can actually hold down the charge yet. Yeah, I don't think we've gotten many skills like that to charge to increase its power. Mana Right kinda does that, except it already cast from the start, but this looks like something that you can hold down to charge with either maybe left click or right click, or you hold down the skill button. But whatever it is, you do go into a crouch, and it breaks them immediately. Actually sends them into a chase. So there is an alternative that this is also a dash attack that you can charge, which is a possibility. So again, this is could it be a command? Maybe. Could it be a skill? Sure, it could be a skill as well. Either way, it sends them into a chase because this is the tumble animation that you get sent into, or the spiraling animation you get sent into when it's a chase. I don't even know if they demonstrate it here, but you can chase off of that. This looks more like a dash attack to me though. And the reason for that is if you remember back to the other trailer, the ground combo that they did there was a left click, right click combo where they did 2 shots standing while walking, and then they crouched down to shoot, and then they shot again and did a backflip on that one, and that launched the opponent, and I believe this one does too. Yeah, right there. And you're doing a backflip here, although notably you're not doing it from a crouching position like you did in the last one. So that makes me think that this is the dash attack, and that this is not the dash attack. And if this is not the dash attack, then this is either a right click command that you can charge or a separate skill. I'm opting that it might be a separate skill that maybe just does higher break. I'm not really sure. Although what's scary about this is, now I don't know the endurance of the enemy, so it's totally possible that it could have been lowered or whatever. They are on Slayer, but Slayer's standing endurance is the same, or should be the same as all the other breakers' standing endurance. I'm not really sure what's happening here, but it does hit them and break them instantly and launches them, so that's a little scary for a Slayer to have. So I really hope their endurance was lowered. And then this is a little bit more of what looks like the chase attack, maybe? Although, I'll have to look at the previous trailer again. I wasn't sure if the chase attack was one-handed or not. I thought the chase attack was two-handed, and I thought that might be a skill. In fact, let me check that out. Hold on. Let's pull up this. We'll pull up this, and we will see, because I want to I think I have this at 1.5. Oh no, that's 2.5. Or is it just regular? So that's the backflip I was talking about, by the way, that sends them in the normal launch. So this is with the reticle though. So this chase attack looks like it just, unless they're not chasing, hold on. There is an implication here that they might not be chase attacking here, because they don't actually go into a chase attack. They don't. So normally when you chase attack somebody, they kind of pause in their twirl animation. They don't continue into the free fall, which is kind of what happens here. So maybe they never showed off the chase attack here, because this actually looks just like they did a normal left click off of the launch, which maybe you can do with this karma if you don't want to chase. So maybe that's what happened. That's my only idea there, I guess. So maybe this was in fact just the chase attack here instead. And maybe you can still move while doing it, I'm not really sure. But this looks a lot more like a chase attack, cause see how like they're paused in the air and not like continuously falling down? Like that makes me think of that. Which also means that you can do it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times is what it looks like in total. Here's the shift, it's like a little roll. I also don't know if it's hitting them during the roll. I don't know what's happening there. That kind of looked like it was hitting them during the roll, but nothing happened yet, so I'm not really sure what that was. And then there's a shift attack thing there. This is the what would be the second left click, and then the third left click. Which, was that a knockdown? It broke them. I don't know if it knocked them down though. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks almost like they go airborne. Or they get a knockdown. I'm not really sure. This is your jump LMB supposedly. And a hold jump LMB. And you backflip. So those definitely look like some more basic commands. And then attack freely with skills. So if we also go by the implication that section was showing off strictly commands and not skills, then it definitely means that there's some interesting ideas with its right click maybe. And whatever those charging attacks were. So I have no idea. Although they definitely must have showed a skill off, because like this is not a command. There's no command like this. Unless you do just switch between firing with one hand and firing with two. But it doesn't make much sense. Nor does this one, because this definitely isn't the chase attack, so. And it looks like it reloads every time, so I think it does show skills even in the beginning. Also, I find it funny that this talks about kiting your enemies with powerful charge attacks. Okay, so actually I think this confirms that that one that you crouch down is a skill, because they didn't mention charge attacks until now, and I think that a lot of the skills might have the charge attack property. So, here's the reticle, by the way. Pretty fast, actually. Let's take a look at how fast it is. What is the frame rate of this? It's 1080 at 60 FPS. So, technically, it should be. So, I'm assuming this is the first frame. Could be wrong, but it looks like this is the first frame because it kind of cuts to it. So, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, there's some frames here, though, that are like, you know, not moving. So hold on, I'm gonna recount 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I was trying to match the particle effects of the video, and I'm thinking that that shit isn't working either, because that's not matching it at all. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm just going to follow the in-game footage and see how that goes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they definitely recorded the footage at 30 FPS. So yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think that was a 5, 6. Hold on. I am very particular about my frame data, so this is why it's going to take long. I'm also just woke up as I'm recording this video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's frame 10 if it's running at 30 FPS, probably frame 20 if it's not, or if it's running at 60 FPS, which is not too bad. That's decently fast. I don't know if it's fast enough to use in a combo. Especially because, although it does look like it actually inflicts some amount of... it inflicts something, because these little balls here usually show up when you get hit by something, although maybe it just doesn't do any damage, or no break or something, I'm not really sure. Kinda hard to tell. And then this is your left click. Okay, I'm assuming it does no break because those two left clicks didn't do, or that second left click didn't break either, which not that it usually does on a fully standing endurance target, but notably that one didn't add any. Also, here's that skill from before, I think, right? Or no, it's not even the skill from before, that's a different one. And then this is a cool skill, you kind of throw your gun into the air. Not really sure what's happening there. Also, I assume the skills where you crouch down, you obviously can't move. But yeah, you throw your gun here, and then you shoot. Big shot. Kind of looks similar, though, to what the crouch one did. It just didn't charge it, so maybe that was uncharged. I'm not too sure. Here's the dynamite. Again, personally, don't think it's a good skill because it does absolutely no break. And here's the skill that I think maybe was from before with the red endurance. Because that one definitely does do break, which means it inflicts head stun. This skill looks really good. This skill looks really good. This is an iframe skill. I think clearly it does do break. I just don't think it broke them there. Like, surely it does do break. And it gives you iframes. I mean, I kind of wanted, like, Bo to have this skill. Or, not Bo, not that I thought Bo should have a skill, I just wanted it to have a skill like that that gave it some, like, kind of movement-esque skill that was, I don't know, made you go airborne or something, but it looks like this one got it. Oh, maybe this was what it was before, because it was a one-handed red armor skill, right? Yeah, that looked like it, actually. I think that was the skill from earlier that they showed in the command section. But yeah, notably, this skill has iframes, clearly. In fact, I think it has frame 1 iframes. And again, the only slayers that really have this type of thing are you know, DS. Kunai has some iframes. In terms of long range slayers, the only ones that really have good iframes on star are usually Shadow Pull and Dimension Leap, but Dimension Leap doesn't have iframes on the star. It's only until the second half that you have iframes. But if you look at this, like as soon as you cast the skill, you get iframes. That's a frame 1 iframes. Doesn't mean it still can't be 2 framed. You know, Shadow Pull and Dimension Leap obviously still can. Although Dimension Leap again doesn't have iframes during the start, so I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a 2 frame on the iframes. But you know, even like going to breakers, counter and T charge can be 2 framed even though they have iframes on the first start. Or in counter's case, I guess it's not iframes, but it's supposed to activate the counter, and it doesn't. And in T charge, it does have iframes, but you can still be 2 framed out of it. In this though, you do have iframes at the very start, so that's actually kind of it. This might be the most powerful skill that it has. I'm not gonna lie. Damage-wise, it might not be the most powerful, but like, you know, combo-wise, utility-wise, safety-wise, a long-range Slayer that has the ability to literally just get out of a situation for free. I mean, again, this might have endline because you do go into the air and land on the ground, but you have iframes. Still gonna mess up your opponent, and if you can like redirect, if you can hold a direction key to kind of like redirect the momentum so you go somewhere else, you know, who knows? But you know, an iframe skill on a long range Slayer is always going to be pretty good. And yeah, I think this is a skill from earlier, I think. Let me see. So, maybe it wasn't this skill, but hold on, let me actually see. I think, yeah, I thought it was maybe more similar to this skill, but I'm thinking maybe it's not. It's kind of hard to tell. Alright, sorry about that. I am back. And alright, so let's go back to the rage skills now, which they list the 2 here, which is explosive shot and shadow shot. Shadow shot is the second one, but I think they show that first, and then explosive shot is the first one, but I think they show that second, because they did that with the last karma actually as well, I believe. So interesting thing about shadow shot is shadow shot actually just might be the better one, for a multitude of reasons. And we'll get into that. So this is shadow shot. You are completely invisible. I don't know if you're invulnerable during this, but you are completely invisible. I don't know if it has the same properties as demon mode, where if they're close enough to you, they can find you and stuff like that. Maybe that's true. Otherwise, though, you get these like lock-on things that lock on to people, and well, let's hope people have shifts or can time it. Although I guess it doesn't do that much break, because they just kind of walk through it. But maybe it does a lot of damage. Who knows? So, not sure. And it looks like you can maybe do like 2 or 3 shots. And then here's the other one, which is a very long-ranged rifle shot that just does multiple explosions. And it kind of looks like it carries the enemy, because they're going really far there, dude. Like, they are going far. Like, the enemy was literally right, you know, it was coming up to just where the bridge connects. And this skill goes all the way to the other side, and I still don't see them. I don't see them falling out. In fact, it's already on the bridge on the other side. I still don't see them falling out. I don't know where they went, which makes me think that they are going with that shit. And if that's so, that could be really scary. That could mean that this one does a lot of damage, because you know there are other skills that go this far, right? You think like bird ult 1 from bow, you think shield ult 1, even actually I think that's about it, right? Because there's no other like wave ults. And in the case of bird and shield, they don't carry you across, so you get hit by more parts of the skill. They don't do that at all, right? It's all just one hit. Or in shield's case, you can get more, but you have to really position it. In this case, though, it looks like it just will drag them along with it, which is actually really scary. But yeah, that's about it. So we definitely got to look at the commands. We got to look at the skills. Yeah, I think they showed off a total of, you know, they showed off the dynamite skill. So we already know this is a skill. We know the dynamite is a skill. We know this is probably a skill, which would mean that that's 1, 2, 3 because dynamite. This is a skill. So that's 4, right? And then we have this one, which is 5, if we assume that it's true and that this isn't like a right click or something, although it's not the same as the other one, so I'm not really sure. I still think that this might have been the other one, but they had a different stance there. But if we assume that was 5 and this was 6, and that was all of the skills. And then what is this? Like, I don't understand. So this is one skill. This is a skill, and this definitely is a skill. That would never be a command. But then what is this? Like, I'm thinking maybe this is a right click. Like, I don't know what's happening here. Unless it could have 7 skills. There is the possibility that it has 7 skills, because technically a lot of the other karmas also have 7 skills because we had awakening as a thing and we don't have it anymore. So this totally could be 7 skills. I'm not really sure, because we definitely see, this does not look the same. This is a rapid fire skill. And then we have this one, right, with the iframe jump. And then we have this one where you kind of do more, you're in red endurance, but you do more slower shots that maybe do higher break. You have the dynamite, which would be your 4th skill. You have the charge shot, which we assume, oh yeah, we also have this skill, which we would assume would be your 5th, does a lot of break. We have the dynamite. We have the long range shot that explodes on multiple times on impact and launches them a little bit, that you can charge up, which we would assume is a 6th skill. And then we have the reticle, which we'd assume is the 7th. Which still doesn't answer the question of some of the things here. Like, what is this? I don't know if that's one of the skills though, or if this is one of the skills, or if this is one of the right clicks, which it totally could be a right click. Maybe that one is the right click. I don't know. Kind of be crazy if it is. And then you have this, and maybe that is like the dash attack. Cause to be fair, okay, actually this is from crouch. I thought this dash attack wasn't from crouch, but clearly you are crouched here. So maybe it is just the dash attack you can charge up as well, because let me take a look at the stance here. His leg is back on the right, forward on the left, and you charge it up before you unleash that. And then let's go to the dash attack key. Let's take a look at the position. Kind of hard to see, but it's totally possible that it could be, because the leg is going in the back. The leg in the front isn't in the same position, but it's definitely possible that it could be, because you're just unleashing early, which could shortcut the animation. But so it could be that these are actually all commands, and that this is the right click. I don't know what this would be though, because unless the left click has like a different animation, but that launches. I don't know what that could be, but I think this could be the right click. Because I would never want a left click to have endurance. It wouldn't make any sense. And considering how slow the pause is between the shots and the final shot, like cannons does work like this, by the way. Cannons gives you red endurance. You right click once, you fire rockets. Right click twice, you fire rockets. Right click a third time, I think you fire slightly more rockets. I think that do slightly more damage. So that's what I'm thinking, and I think that this is maybe just the dash attack with charged, and then this is the dash attack uncharged, maybe. And this is the chase attack. This is the shift attack. Again, I don't know why it's doing, looks like it might be doing something beforehand, but, and that's just 3 LMB, so I think it's 3 LMB chain. And this is the air attack, hold LMBs. It looks like you can choose between doing maybe 3 LMBs or the hold LMB, because it does switch hands and stances. And then it goes into the skills. So maybe those are all commands. And maybe it has like a dash right click, could have a dash right click. We got to consider that it might have unique commands, right? It could have a left click, right click command. It could have a, well, it can't have a left click, right click command because it already does. So that isn't anything special. It could have a jump right click. It could have a jump left click. It could have a shift right click. It could have a, well, it does have obviously a shift left click, but it could have a dash right click as much as it has a dash left click. It could have a right click that goes into a left click, or just a right click by itself. Don't really know. Kind of hard to decipher. I assume the ones that have red endurance are right clicks. Otherwise, though, I'm not really sure. And again, skill-wise, it looks like 7 skills. It genuinely looks like 7 skills that they show off here. I mean, they basically show off 7 skills. I mean, again, we can even speed this part up, right? Like, this is 1 skill. This is the command. This is potentially a 2nd skill, or it's, oh no, the reticle isn't there, so I don't even think it's an enhanced dash attack. So that's 2, then you have 3, and that's definitely 1. This is the dynamite, this is definitely 4. You have this one, which doesn't look like the normal right click, which I would assume means that this is 5. Iframe, which would be 6, and then you have this skill, which looks like a rapid shot, which would be 7. So, I mean, if we go in accordance with the fact that none of those are commands, that means this has 7 skills, which also then means that Glaive still has 6. Is Glaive going to be getting its 7th skill soon? I don't know what's happening with that. Again, there's a lot of questions here. The Karma NPC is here for this one, probably in lobby as well, because the costume is here and the gun is here. Glaive never got that. We never got the Glaive's costume or weapon. So, again, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Maybe both NPCs are finally going to show in lobby, because the NPC for the Glaive is in the files. Like, the Annie Capulet or whatever is in the files. So, maybe we're getting costumes for both or something. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll get the 7th skill for Glaive. I don't know. And, because it kind of looks like this one has 7 skills. I'm not going to lie. Which isn't obviously a bad thing. But it's just, it would be weird for you to release a Karma that has 6 and then go to a next Karma that has 7. It's kind of unfair, some may say, although this game is kind of notorious for not necessarily being fair. But that kind of seems to be it. And then again, we go back to the ults, which I think both ults seem potentially really good. I think the only issue with Shadow Shot is if it has the same effect as Demon Mode, where if you're close enough you can see them, then that would completely get rid of anything that the invisibility would give you. Obviously, if you use it from long range, it's going to be much harder, but if you're in close range, then it might not have a use, and especially if you get interrupted and it just cancels the whole entire ult, which I would assume is the case. You could have invincibility during this. I hope you don't, because if you do, then that would just make this even better. But I think that this probably is just invisibility and then you ult, so... And it doesn't look fast enough to use in combo either. None of these really do, or at least... This one, maybe you could off of a launch. I think this one might actually just be the one that people run, because this one just looks so much better. Clearly a good one for CTF. And even deathmatch, again, this looks like it does a lot of damage, because it just drags you all the way. So, but we'll find out more on that date, which is next week. It's 12/15, I think 12/14 though for NA. I think that's about it for now. I don't really think I have any more to say. If you have any other theories or ideas, you can point them out in the comments below. But till then, I will see you guys on the Karma update day. So, see ya.